Greetings, Mandrake here. This is Mission 13, The Road, on the difficulty legendary with all skulls on, except for the bandana skull. Deathless. No deaths. I am currently carrying a full BR and a 12-shot sniper rifle, as in 4 in the clip and 8 in reserve. I don't plan on using the sniper rifle on this mission, for I am saving it for the House of Reckoning. And being you can use the Scorpion to pretty much get kills through this whole mission, you still need to acquire the Scorpion, and so that means there's a bunch of enemies, and that also means not using the sniper rifle. So the plan is to sneak around and steal a Wraith and use it to kill the enemies in this camp. This camp will consist of an Elite, Jackal Sniper, 1 Brute, 2 Jackal Majors, and 6 Grunts. And all the enemies are really kind of scattered about. There's the Jackal Sniper in the Watchtower. There's an Elite and a Grunt guarding the tank. They're pretty much scripted to stay in that area. And then you got plenty of Grunts and the Jackals and the Brute around the camp, around the prison camp. There's 2 Marine prisoners being held. Having trouble walking up onto this little ledge. I don't want to jump and give my position away. I want to run out here and get in without being seen, but being there facing different directions so it's can easily be seen. And I want to get into the driver's seat. The game puts me in the turret of all things. And I want to escape and get away from the camp so I don't get stunned. I expected to get stunned. I expect to get hit with a nade or 2. I can survive that. I can survive getting hit by a rocket. And just get up here to the top of the hill, and I can turn and face and fight them all off while being able to evade any other fire, rockets, nades, or anything like that. So I'm in good shape here. And here comes a rocket, and was just able to evade that. And so I know I'm not the best, and really didn't get a lot of practice in the Wraith. So my shots are not the best, and I tend to miss. And being that there's quite the arc with the Wraith, it's hard for me to make the adjustment and get shots on target, especially with the line. Just a few more things left to overcome here. I'm going to try and get through this without taking any more damage. I might have some slight damage. It is going to be a bit of a slow play. I want to ensure that whenever I shoot that Elite or Grunt over there, that I do not cause the Scorpion any damage. There's just probably just a couple Grunts left. There's a Jackal. There's that Elite, and like I said, he's scripted to hang around there, so he's not really going to move out of that area too much or move around a whole lot. So I just need to get my shot on target. That Grunt will stay in that particular area, that close to the Scorpion. I think he does want to hop down and then hops back up, but he does like to stick around that close, so I don't want to shoot him, because I have been through this a couple times, and when trying to shoot him, it causes damage to the Scorpion. I also want to save at least 1 enemy to melee to ensure I get a good full shield. And I want to save the Jackal Sniper in order to do that. He's easy enough to just a couple punches and go down. So these are the last 2 enemies, just this Grunt and Jackal. And unfortunate, and that's what really is going to slow this down, is now that Grunt was pushed back to the other side of the tank, and now he's just kind of lost because he's kind of in an area he's not really scripted to do anything. He'll just do kind of basic scripting and just kind of defend, attack, shoot, or whatever, kind of move around a little bit. And being that he's in an area that is wide open and in such a nice clear line of sight for the sniper, I don't want to just charge up and try and attack him, because then the sniper will get me. So I was considering shooting the sniper, and he just turned and missed me shooting at him. And as I'm sitting here in the open doing this, behind me is a brute who decides to now shoot his rockets, and whenever rockets are fired, I mean, splash damage will kill you. And so I had to move and move quick. So now I have to deal with that brute that's way back there that's going to shoot at me. I think I'll just use this skewer to try and just get a one-shot kill on this front. He just jumps out of the way as I go to shoot him. And now, oddly, as all that was going on, the Jackal sniper somehow blew up the plasma canister, the plasma coil that he was hanging around, and it blows up and kills him. So I'm not able to melee anything to ensure I've got a full shield, but I think it turns out I have a full shield, because I'm doing the ground pound here, or the grapple pound, and it looks like my shield is good.
A dream, Chief.
So now I'm in good shape.
Pretty nice.
I'm going to free the prisoners, get Scorpion, and continue on. Just took a little time, just a little slow getting this opening taken care of. I don't want to use my BR or the sniper rifle. I just want to find a weapon that I can use to free the prisoners. Don't have too many choices. The disruptor isn't going to do it. And I don't want to stand too close to it because the explosion can cause shield damage. I'm making sure I'm far enough away.
Never again. Thanks, Chief.
Now, as far as collecting BR ammo, there's going to be a BR. You'll find them laying on the ground. There's 3 total on this mission. If there's more, then I haven't found them, and I know I've looked quite well. So there's going to be one in the area up ahead. There is one at the first gate, and there's a third one at the second and final gate. And so those are the 3. And it is Shiela time. Yeah, that threat sensor revealed that there were 2 brutes back there. And so from this point forward, I can just use the Scorpion to kill enemies. Didn't like taking a couple shots, heat wave shots from that elite. Kind of aggressive move. There is going to be a shade turret around this little bend here, right around this kind of rocky outcropping on the left here.
How the hell did you
Just get shots and kill these little guys stepping out in the open on a tank. And being that it is a deathless run, it is a slow play. I want to ensure that I don't receive much damage or take much damage in this one. Already had some. And I can make it through this, because I've done this mission several times and made it through without really, with taking very little damage, to the point to where it doesn't look like the Scorpion had much weight. It pretty much does the way you see it now. I have several times made it to the end with very little damage. But this mission, I'll end up taking some damage. It won't be in the best of shape, because just coming up onto a trigger line that's going to trigger 2 drop pods, 2 brutes. Checking my notes, I believe the drop pod on the right with the brute had a Hydra, which I forget about and don't bother with. There's going to be a few more enemies. You can kind of see out getting in the road on this left-hand side. They can kind of step out, making it a little easier for them. There's all kinds of obstacles and rocks and outcroppings that interfere with trying to get shots.
Solid kill, Spartan.
We're trying to get big shots. Now the real challenge is going to be, there is going to be a spec op elite that's going to push into this area. And it was always such a hard time for me to figure out where he came from, because prior to trying to do a deathless run, I've just done just a regular laser without bandana run. And I would come up here and like all the enemies are dead. I put threat sensors down. There's no enemies, and then I go to push forward and there's an elite that throws a nade on me, and I'm like, well, where did he come from? See, right, where did he come from? He just shows up. Well, he comes down from the mountain and goes to that little area, just hiding around the corner, just on the other side of the rocks. And as you pull up, he'll throw a nade on you. And if you don't stop him, he'll throw a second one on you. And you'll take quite a bit of damage. So he's a sneaky one, and you really got to be looking out for him. But you also need to push up just enough, because I believe there's a trigger line that triggers him to come down. So on this right-hand side, that little building there is going to have a couple of Marine prisoners. Just a bunch of enemies. I don't even really recall, you know, the variety of enemies. And there's grunts and jackals, brutes. There's a brute here and there. And then you got this wraith. You got an enemy wraith just on this kind of rock island is really kind of what I'll call it. It's just kind of this rock island. And you put 3 shots on target on the wraith and it goes down. And another trigger line. We'll send down 2 more drop pods, and these are brutes. The one on the left may be a jetpack brute captain. And so the jetpacker will have a heat wave. I keep shooting at something that's kind of moving right in there, and I keep putting shots on it, and it doesn't seem like it's getting killed there. And you know, I kind of thought that shot was on target, so I took the second shot. I put the threat sensor down to see if there's any enemies. Looks clear. I just need to be cautious of anything on the other side of this rock island, see if there's anything hanging around. Now I know I had 2 Marines with me. One was in the gun, and I don't know what happens with the other one. It's kind of odd. Last time I've been doing runs on this, the Marines don't keep up with me, and it's not like I'm racing away from them. I'm moving up slowly, as in quite slowly, because it's a deathless run.
The difference between living
and I don't know what happens to the other Marine. I mean, sure, possibly gets killed or something like that, but he's not dead. He is hanging around somewhere, just not following. I'm gonna push up the Scorpion, ensure there's no enemies nearby that are out of the range of the threat sensor. Up here is a couple skewers, and I'm going to give them to the Marines. I'd rather them have long-range weapons, because I don't want them to get in close enough range to be throwing nades, because that's what they'll do. Whatever weapon you give them, if they're within nade range, they'll throw the nade because of catch. So I'll give them weapons that they can use from distance: rockets, skewer, Hydra, which is why earlier I mentioned about the Hydra. Is there should be a dropped Hydra back there, but I completely forget and unaware that a Hydra could have been dropped. I got away from the Marines to allow them to do their scripting where they get out and walk around. So rocket and sniper, or, sorry, rocket and skewer will do. This kind of flat cropping here, as I'm looking at just a little to the left, there's a sniper rifle up there, 4-shot sniper rifle, and I forget about it. I didn't forget. The previous runs is just, there was frustrations with how I had a silly death here or there, and so then coming back and doing it again, I completely forget about the sniper rifle. It doesn't really matter. I have enough ammo that when I get into House of Reckoning, I'll collect one that will max it out and it'll be full without having to really get anything. There's going to be another shade turret around this corner, just on the other side of these rocks, and I'm trying to back up slowly so I can get range of it, and if it starts shooting, then I can pull away quickly. This is kind of a narrow passage, so it's a little nerve-wracking. And there's the shade turret. Was able to get shots on it before he was able to shoot. There's this slope, this kind of hill slope on the right-hand side that some brutes will come down. At least 3 brutes will come down the slope. Down here, there they start from right now. Like a couple of them off, and there goes the third. Make sure I get to them early because they have heavy weapons, rockets, fighter, or something like that. Fronts there that I keep shooting at, and it doesn't seem like my shots are really doing anything. It's perplexing. Always find it hard to get shots on these enemies in this particular area. I see them and it looks like I'm getting shots on target, or it looks like my shots are good, but you know, it doesn't seem like they're doing anything. Like there. That one right there I can see missed, went over his shoulder. And see, this was the thing that kind of bothers me. They keep shooting the disruptor, you get stunned, and then before you know it, a couple more shots, and this thing will be on fire. Yep, see right there. They just keep shooting with that disruptor, and it's causing damage. No matter, I'll be able to get through this. Need to get shots on target. I think he is still alive. Yep, he survived that. Now, in this little shed on the left side, there's typically 2 jackals. And I'd like to use the chance to see if I can run over here and melee something to ensure I have a shield. Doing a grapple pound to show that my shield is good. I would like to collect rockets, because there is a particular situation that tends to be more of the case, more the norm than unnormal. When you get to the gate and you got the 2 hunters, tend to get shots on them, and shooting on them tends to send them airborne and over the gate to the other side, and that presents a special problem. As in, you won't be able to use the Scorpion to kill them if they're on the other side of the gate. You have to go to the gate controls to lower the gate to do that, and they are guarding the gate on the other side, and thus really don't have much of a weapon to use against those hunters. But I will be able to cover that once this comes up. I'm just looking around to ensure there's no enemies, everything's taken care of. So now it's time for the gate here. There's going to be a jackal sniper you just saw shooting back. It's unusual to see that sometimes the splash damage doesn't work on that jackal sniper in that particular. It took 2 shots for it to work. Now with the there's going to be a ghost occupied by an elite. I think I already got it taken care of. There's here it comes right now. It takes care of the ghost. Now with the hunters, I've been through this a few times, putting shots on the hunters, and it sends them airborne backward to the other side of the gate, which presents a a big problem. So I figure that if I can get shots on him head high, and there it goes. Send him to the other side, and you know, like I'm shooting high, and if there's any place I want to shoot him, hit him, I want to hit him behind them so that they can come forward rather than backward. And it still doesn't seem to matter. Head high, shoot behind them so that they can come toward me. You know, maybe you aim high so it doesn't send them airborne, and it doesn't seem to matter. So I have 2 hunters on the other side of the gate. Yes, there is a jackal sniper around the corner there. There might be another enemy or two, you know, small troop. Shield is good from the grapple pound. And so I was looking to see, okay, do I need to, and you see on the threat sensor, okay, here's one of the hunters is still on this side of the gate. So let's try and, I'm going to try and get him killed. Hopefully without sending him to the other side. And I believe I got the kill on, well, I heard something die.
Love seeing you Spartans work.
So the thing was with the jackal sniper was to, if I had some shield damage, I'd save him to get a shield. Once again, it looks like my shield is good, so if my shield's good, then I'll just shoot him and not have to worry about having to sneak up on him, because it's a risky move, because he is in the open and there's not a lot of cover to sneak up on him. So here's the problem. You get this hunter on the other side of the gate. And so got rockets. He's probably taken a few shots with the Scorpion. So you figure maybe a few shots with this, a rocket launcher could kill him off. The other thing to look at is, like, if I'm not going to bother shooting him, then I could just get into the gate controls, kill off the enemies inside there, which I'll go over in a moment, and then just sneak and get away without engaging the hunter and ensuring I'm not going to get shot and killed by the hunter.
I'm guessing that's it. The House of Reckoning. I was right. It really is a suitably ominous
So I figured,
name.
being I've got a
How
couple
did he
shots
get in
with the
there?
Scorpion on him, 2, 3, I'm not sure how many, that he would be in bad shape. And so if I can find a full rocket launcher and just get some shots on him, then maybe, if anything, enough just it deters him.
Line up, banished. I got
See,
something
I'm
to show you.
hearing some kind of fireworks going on behind me. And it turns out it's one of my Marines engaging some enemy on the road that came down from the hills. So I'm moving back to this area. And I'll see that this turns out to be a good thing. Looked like, you know, that right there was a kill on one of the enemies, but what else was flying back behind me to my, that went over my right shoulder, was one of the Marines. And not from my fireworks, from their fireworks. So as it turns out, from leaving the area, and here comes these brutes down the slope again. Not sure why this occurred, but it doesn't turn out to be a problem. I'm able to kill them just fine. So being that I had to leave that area, pretty good distance away from the area, and as I come back, I'm going to take a peek here. I'm looking around for weapons and things like that.
Turret's mine. Give me a target.
That hunter has now been replaced back on this side of the gate. And that's the fix. Or if this occurs, if they end up on the other side of the gate, you leave the area and you come back and the game will put them back on this side of the gate. That makes this much more tolerable and you can kind of get through it. Now, granted, it slows things down, but as a deathless run, I'm not too concerned about time. I'm just concerned about completing the mission without dying. So now I can finish this guy off with the scorpion. Yeah, just keep shooting him, and he just keeps going up higher and higher. And down.
Toughed it out. Nice job.
Area secure for now.
So I think just off to my right, there's a dead Marine, and there should be a BR by the dead Marine. You're not gonna see it listed, or I'm not gonna show it to you in this playthrough, but I'm just pointing it out. So the next step here is, or at least the enemies for this gate, is when you cross the halfway point of the gate, it'll trigger a drop pod reinforcement of that's going to contain a brute. He's going to have a rocket launcher. Inside the gate controls building is going to be 2 skirmishers and an elite. I've got options with those guys. Now there's a variety of things that can be done with the elite. Try to grapple pound, use rockets, try and do a noob combo, stick them with the nade, and maybe use the sword, which is why I'm bringing the sword along. And as I noticed when getting in and out of the ghost, that my shield is a little damaged, a little singed. So with the brute, which he's not really going to be that much of a challenge, or really going to be that hard, I could just heat wave his shield off and headshot him. And with the elite and skirmishers, I figure I could just start with rockets, just kind of shoot the rockets from the doorway, see what they do, and because I can headshot the skirmishers with the BR. Picked up 4 or 5 rockets. These rockets should be just about full, maybe one short of full. I'm just going to climb up here and put down one of these weapons to store up here and go back for the BR, because I'll need that for the brute. Alright, just about to cross this trigger line, bring down the drop pod with the brute. Gonna be pretty much just right where I'm looking down the ground level. Make sure I got the right firing mode. Come on now. Too many shots. Now I'm going to want to use different weapons for these guys. I figure I'm going to go with the sword and the rockets. And there's a skirmisher alive. I'll just get him with the sword. That wasn't good. That wasn't good. And totally screwed on not getting my shield. I stabbed that skirmisher, did not hit his little shield bracelet. He was stunned. He had nothing to protect him with. There was no, the game just really screwed me on that. So yeah, on just the other side of the gate is going to be a Wraith or two, which is why I parked the Scorpion a little ways away from the gate. Gonna be a lot of enemies, left side, right side. Yeah, I had bad luck hitting the ground instead of hitting the rail.
You're a wrecking machine.
That death sound was apparently the turret was killed. The turret operator was killed, and now the Wraith is destroyed.
Probably more of those banished bastards lurking just around the corner. I was at the reverie when Esherim came. I'm ready for some payback.
Sniper's toast. Chief, you're making the rest of us look bad.
Rock Island I just shot, yeah, there's going to be plenty of enemies up there. There is a trigger line coming up.
It'll take more. They're done
that
for.
will, and I'm backing off because I'm forgetting about the trigger line for the drop pods, because I'm thinking about the trigger line for the Phantoms, because that can be a bit of a challenge. Because you can take a lot of damage. The Scorpion can take a lot of damage from the Scorpions. I'm sorry, not the Scorpions, from the Phantoms as they fly overhead.
We're good for now.
So what I
got this
should
lunch, that
do
won't last
here
forever.
is to continue forward and have the drop pods come down, but I forget about them. My mind was focusing on the Phantoms. And I say this because I wanted to kill off just enough enemies where I can trigger it
Let us help,
and have
Chief.
Phantoms fly overhead. But the thing is, if the drop pods haven't come down, I'm just going to end up triggering the drop pods. And what I mean by this is I'll get all the Scorpion here in a moment, and I'm going to go into the gate controls building, and when you walk all the way through and exit the other side, you'll hit that trigger
Someone
line,
check that corpse.
which I'm about to show. So I pass through here and out this exit door. In this general area, there is a trigger line that will bring down the Phantoms, but if the drop pods haven't come down, you're going to trigger the drop pods, and I was unaware of that. And yeah, there is a shade turret there. So I need to, I'll go down a little further, got onto that little patio, and here come the drop pods. And that's where I realized, like, oh, I haven't even gotten to that part yet. So I need to kill off the enemies from the drop pods. And that's unfortunate. Nice throw with the nade there. I've got more damage.
Come on, Marines, let's back him up.
So being that the drop pods are now taken care of, and that trigger line has been triggered, I will also go back and do it again for the Phantoms. And it will also do the same thing.
Nice shot.
So just a little bit of a slow play, just ensuring that I survive and make it to the end without dying. And as far as the shield goes, I could make it to the end of the mission without a shield, and when I start the next mission, it will recharge my shield. I will start the mission with a new shield, new fully charged shield. Okay, bunch of enemies here on this rock island. And once again, I'm going to walk out here, trigger the Phantoms, and being I'm in pretty good safety or pretty good cover where they're not going to see and shoot at me, I'm going to try and move and try and blow one or both of them up, and unfortunately I missed with that shot. If I get the first shot on, I can shoot the turret gunner, and the gunner will die and I won't get any shots. The goal would have been to try and kill these Phantoms before they drop Ghost, but as it turns out, Scorpion beats Ghost. So there's really not a lot of urgency I need to put into killing off the Phantoms. It would just slow things down. I would just wait for the Phantoms to fly in, drop off what they want to drop off, and fly off out of range and not take any shots and not take any damage. It just slows things down.
I got you.
Now, being I was being shot at by a Jackal Major, I can now save that Jackal for a melee and get my shield back. So I'm just looking for any other enemies, any enemies that might be around. Yeah, there was a grunt just sitting out in the open, not shooting or squawking or anything. And yeah, what do you know? There's a Wraith back there. So the threat sensor shows one enemy, and it's a Jackal. Looks like a skirmisher. So I hope I don't have any
Good work, Marines.
skirmisher
No contacts.
wrist shield shenanigans. Last thing I need is for the game to recognize that I punched his wrist shield and it won't give me a shield. Yeah, that's like stupid. And it turns out that there's a grunt nearby here just as I'm starting to jump out here and go after him. And now there's drop pods. But it turns out this little guy, he's not engaging. He wasn't going to engage. I could have just left him. He could have been a pet grunt. But being that there was some drop pods and enemies, I wasn't going to hang around and mess with that. So my Marine friends were engaging the drop pod reinforcements. I'm shooting up in that area because I'm seeing movement. So this area here, this kind of broad area here, this is the last of the enemies for the road. From here down to the gate, there are no more enemies. Yeah, there was one of the other ghost, and that's the last of the Wraith. It is now destroyed. I think if I wanted to, I could just make a beeline for the gate. However, I'm unsure how the game plays out if you haven't killed all the enemies. But I'm just going to be thorough, make sure I kill everything. Yep, there's a brute. Yeah, being that's such a broad area, you kind of wonder where should I be putting the threat sensor. I was trying to be a little cautious with that building I was shooting in because there was a Jackal Major there, and I was thinking there was maybe another couple more Marine prisoners, but there are none. There's just the two that I've already, or the two camps I've already rescued. So far clear.
Whoops.
Threat sensors aren't revealing any other enemies. Should be the last of them. Pick up this turret. Shield looks good. I'm good to go. Just a little slow.
I can't believe we're not dead.
Wait, maybe we are dead.
Yeah, take the
Maybe this is
long way
Marine
around
afterlife.
and get in the turret. Oh my goodness.
The bridge is down. Looks like the controls are up on that platform.
So once you get to this point, it is time to decide what weapons you want to carry into the next mission. I've decided I'm taking this sniper rifle. Got 12 shots, as I mentioned from the beginning, in the BR. And right about the moment as I crossed the bridge, I realized my BR is not full. So I'll have to take a minute to run back
Okay.
and touch
guess
up
we're
on it and get it
expected.
full.
What if it's a trap? I mean, it's a trap, right? It's definitely a trap. Are you even listening?
Right about this point, I'm realizing the weapons I'm taking
Ready
with
when you
me,
are, Chief.
sniper good, BR good, and then I realize BR not full, fill it up. So that's why I'm starting to head back, or may reload. Only had a few shots here and there. I'm going to go back and touch up on it, and the thing that I was real concerned about was the time it would take for me to find a BR. I have made it down this far before, and I think there's lots of weapons that like to despawn, and I was really hoping there was going to be a BR at this gate down here in this corner. So I saw this AR, and I was like, please be a BR, please be a BR. And up there on the ridge here, just in the scan range, please be a BR, it is. I touch up on it, and yeah, it's still there, which tells me my BR is full. Which saves me having to go further back, because it's not like the Scorpion is going to move at a really brisk pace. I would probably have to be going back on foot quite a long ways to find another BR, and then have to cross my fingers and hope that it's still there and hasn't despawned. Typically, when items are placed, they don't. Being as far as I progressed, it's possible that it could have. So this mission is winding down to a close.
Unknown.
Made it through the
There's
road.
an unusual
LASO
signal up
without
ahead. Maybe that's
bandana. Deathless. Thank you for joining me, and look to catch me on the next mission, House of Reckoning.